Hey everyone, welcome to the Anderson Bros Outdoors. I'm Jake, and today we're going to talk about some tires. More specifically, we're going to talk about these Proline Aztecs, so stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back. As I said, my name is Jake, and today we have the Proline Aztecs on the bench, and we're going to review them. So these are the latest tires from Proline. They're not licensed. They are a 4.75 tire, so they would be technically a class 2. These are specifically in the G8 compound. So in the area that I reside, or the Midwest, the middle of the Midwest, in the Kansas area, we don't really run Predator compound often. That's more of a winter tire than a summer tire. The Predator is really soft. So these are some crawlers in Predator compound. You can see that they have been extremely chewed up by running them. They're too soft for summer. Really anything over 35 degrees Fahrenheit outside, they're gonna be too soft for. I mean, you can see that there's these holes everywhere from compound being too soft, and it just separates or tears. Let's just go ahead and jump into the review of the G8 tire compound. We have some water coming out of them. So real quick, these are Vanquish wheels and rings. They do have some brass hubs on them. So you see right there, brass hubs. And in the front, we have brass patties as hubs. Outside of that, we are running my 115 by 40 millimeters printed inserts in the front and the rear. The front is a 3% gyroid infill, and the rear is a 6% gyroid infill. You always want the rear to be a little stiffer than the front, because when you're doing verticals or any type of incline climbs, you don't want the rear to get smashed flat. You will grab more traction that way, or your truck will fall over one way or the other, and it will not be what you want. You want the front to be a little softer, so that way when you're doing inclines like this, the front still has some grab to it, and it's not just really hard and bouncy. The truck that these tires on is essentially a Fordyce with Rock Pirate rails and sliders, and we are running a Jeep Comanche body on this truck. So there's going to be some B-roll footage. I have done a lot with these tires. I've comped these tires, and I've trailed them. I've probably put 40 to 50 battery packs through these tires, and you can see they're holding up really well. There's not a lot of wear in them, so there's not a lot of the scuff marks you would see, like on these tires here. You see how they're starting to wear there, and you don't really see that with these. Not just the Aztecs, but Proline in general. I think that their compound formula has changed, because it's not what it used to be. I have some older Proline tires that I feel like the formula or the compound of the rubber is actually better. This is almost like a tough plasticky compound. I don't know how to explain it, and I don't know how to make it better. I want to make it better. I would prefer that the compound be between this stiffness and the J Concepts. I think the J Concepts compound is fantastic, but it's more of a colder weather tire. Right out of the package, they work phenomenally, but as you break them in, at least in the heat in this area, they stop performing like you want them to. The great thing about the Proline compound is the longevity of it. So it is a stiffer compound, but it's not as grippy as the softer compound, and grip turns into winning or losing, especially if you're in a competition. Immediate impressions were the tires were okay. They're really stiff. So the carcass is really stiff right out of the package. You almost don't even need foams, or you just need foams. They're so stiff. I couldn't get them to loosen up, and my initial impression taking them out of the package was to put them back in the package and take them back to the hobby store. I did get these locally here at D&Me in Topeka, Kansas. They have a very large selection of tires. I would go check them out. I did run them, so I put them on the mullet initially with the configuration they're in. I wanted a lot of weight on them because they are really stiff. I did do a competition with it, and the tires did better than I had anticipated. It was pretty abrasive rock. It was concrete in the area that we were doing competition, but they worked really well. Immediate notices out of the package, I wasn't a fan. I ran them and I became more and more okay with them. So the more I ran them, the better I liked them. The tread pattern is interesting on these, and what I found is that this tread pattern works really well for sandstone-like surfaces. So surfaces that are flat or more flat, it's all one solid rock. You don't have like many little rocks or boulders or whatever. These tires seem to perform really well there. Concrete is a prime example. It is on this trail truck here, and we did take it through the water and the mud and things of that nature. The Proline compound really shines when it gets wet. I don't know why. The only time that that really any tire isn't going to do very well is if it's really mossy. And even in mossy situations, these tires actually did pretty good. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. There are some downsides. Like I said, I have many battery packs run through these, and they're finally starting to soften up. I wouldn't say that they're to the point where I want them, but they are a lot softer than they were when I opened them out of the package. So if you do go to buy these tires, I would highly recommend that you break them in or run them first before you actually put them on a comp truck or a truck that you're going to go do extreme crawling with. I don't know of an easy way to break them in. Maybe if you have a treadmill at home, you can put the treadmill on a certain mile an hour and then just have the truck on a cruise control and run it that way. That's a possibility. Or you can just get your truck out and go for a long walk on a trail truck and drive it, a couple miles. That might break them in. It's really hard to say. One of the things that I was going to do with these tires is I was actually going to turn them, sorry, there's wasps everywhere. I was actually going to turn them inside out and try and remove some of the material of the carcass on the inside of the tire to thin them out. Now, the reason that I didn't do that is because I don't have a grinder, and I'm nervous that it's not going to be equally removed across the entire carcass and going to cause performance issues. Or I'm going to put a hole in them. So I just haven't done that. But that's an option to potentially lighten up or soften up the tires themselves. One of the other things that I really do like about this tread pattern is that these lugs are thick and they're short. Whenever you do go to do an obstacle or do a climb, the lug isn't going to roll over on you. And that is really one of the biggest pain points with most other tires is you have these lugs, like this Predator Crawler, for example. Better visualize this. You go to climb it and the lug just simply folds over and it doesn't actually do anything. You can hear it sit there and click or try and attempt to grip, but it's not gripping because either you don't have a stiff enough insert, you're running foams, or the compound is just too soft for the potential application. Which brings me into another very controversial topic, which is inserts. I'm not going to cover that today. It's not just the tire or the compound that plays a role in how the tire performs. It's a mixture of things. This video is about these Azteks. Overall, the Azteks performed better than I had anticipated. They did well in almost every situation that I put them through, including trail runs through the river, creek, whatever you want to call it. And I'm pretty happy with them. Would I buy them to do a competition? Absolutely not. In my mind, they're not competition tires. First of all, they're not SORCA legal because they're not a licensed or brand tire, scale tire, if you will. Second of all, they just don't perform like I want them to perform, and so I wouldn't waste your money. These are expensive tires. You're looking at $60, $70 a set of 4 after shipping, tax, and things of that nature. So what I would purchase these for personally are for trail running, which is why they're on my trail truck. They do very well at that. They do good at crawling. They're just not competitive. I will tell you that so far the crawlers will outperform these box stock for box stock. So to just kind of recap, the tires are very stiff. The carcass I think is a little too thick. Overall, Proline, they had to have changed their compound in their tires because they are stiffer than they used to be, especially the G8 compound. I would like to see that a little bit softer. I don't want to see them as soft as you can see, I don't want to see them this soft, but I also don't want to see them this hard either. And I think that might actually change the entire dynamic of the tire itself. It would go from being a tire that is just okay to a tire that performs really well. Just my opinion. Outside of that, I'm not a tire expert. I'm not a tire engineer. I don't design them for a living. And, there could be a reason that they're designed the way they are. I don't know. I do know that they are in the middle of the road in terms of tires that I've tried or tested. I would probably give them a middle of the road rating, if you will. I wouldn't give them an excellent rating, and I certainly wouldn't give them a low review rating because I think that they do perform. While this video may not have had scientific evidence or substantiating evidence to back it up, based off of my personal use and opinion, that's where we're at. We appreciate you guys making it this far. Feel free to subscribe to the channel for more reviews and just footage in general. Huge shout out to the TABO club members. We really appreciate all your support. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do on the channel, such as giveaways. Speaking of giveaways, we will be doing another giveaway very soon, so stay tuned for that. And as always, we hope you have a great day.